How to join a granny square using the slip stitch method. To start joining your squares, you need to put them together with the fronts facing each other. Make sure the edges are closely together so that the edge stitches on both squares are lined up. The next step is to grab some yarn. Normally I would use purple to join so that the join blends in, but I'll use white today so that it's easier to see. You're going to be working only on the outside loops of each stitch. This way you get a nice seamless look at the front of the work. Firstly, insert your hook into the outside loops on the end stitch in both squares. Next, pick up your yarn and wrap it once around your hook, holding the end tightly. Then, pull it through both the loops on your hook. You then need to continue doing the same thing through all of the loops, so find your next stitch and push your hook through both front loops. Then, loop your yarn around the hook and pull it through both loops, but this time you need to pull it through the third loop too. Then again, go through both front loops of your next stitch, pull your yarn through and go through all three loops on your hook. Now you can take the tail end and tug it slightly to tighten up the first stitch, and then continue going through the front loops of each stitch, looping over and pulling through. As you can see here, some stitches are a little bit harder to get through than others. Sometimes the slip stitches will be tighter because of the way you crocheted them, but with a little wiggle, your hook should pop through. And you can see here you start to get this nice chain of stitches forming on this side. So now all you need to do is continue on until you get to the end, going through both front loops, hooking through and pulling back through all three loops. There are a few different methods of joining, but this is my favourite because it's really quick and really easy. Then, once you've reached the end, you need to do one final slip stitch through the sides of the very corner stitch. Then, to tie off, take out your hook, lightly pulling on the loop to enlarge it. Cut the tail end and then use your fingers to pull at the loop to bring the tail through. This will naturally tighten it. If you are adding more squares, don't tie off. Just pick up the next two squares, fold them in the same manner and then continue stitching. Here you can see how the stitches look nice and neat and the front is completely untouched. Once you've joined all your squares together, all you need to do is use a needle to sew in the ends round the back and then cut them off. You can join as many squares as you want to make a small blanket or a huge one. Thanks for watching!